You just properly check whether the things on the blackboard are neatly coming there or we need some improvement. So this equation, that is yn is equal to summation of hk xn minus k for k ranging from 0 to infinity, is the governing equation for almost all digital or discrete or digital time systems, wherein we find that the current output is dependent on different proportions with current and previous inputs. This equation can be reduced to a small one either by putting a finite value instead of infinity, then it becomes a finite impulse response system, or by replacing this by iteration. So in that case it contains finite terms, but it is an IR system only. Now, as regards to BIBO stability, bounded input, bounded output stability, what we must have, if we are applying a bounded input means that for any value of n, xn should be finite, or we should be able to have capital Mx such that xn is equal to or less than that value and that mx is finite. If that is there, then the system is this sequence is bounded sequence, bounded input, and if such input is applied to the system, then if system produces bounded output, then it is stable system. So the system component here is only hk. System component only hk, right? Which may range from 0 to infinity. Then very obviously, if ever we have got hk to be deterministic or hk to be a function of k, hk to be a function of k, in that case it is possible to write hk in a formula, and in such situation it is possible for us to have a compact representation in the form of recursive equation using a and b's. So last time when we had considered one example of yn is equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity half raised to k. So in that, what was hk? hk is half raised to k, and for time being we have considered that these inputs as well as system function and output do not have a non-zero value for the index less than 0. So hk is defined only from k equal to 0 onwards. Before k equal to 0, if for just mentioning one may say what is h of minus 1, we safely answer now it is 0. So when hk is half raised to k, then using recursion we have been successful in writing this equation as yn is equal to what? X of n plus half y of n minus 1. Half y of n minus 1. So this hk, which is an infinite sequence, can be constructed by using only two values, those are a0 and b0. Means this infinite term equation you can write by expressing only some finite terms. So based on this is possible if and only if hk is a deterministic function of k. I repeat, deterministic function of k means knowing k, hk can be computed. Otherwise, for every k which is equal to 0 onwards, an integer, there can be any value of hk. It can be random also. It can be random also, 2, 3, 4, 1, 5, 7, 8, like that. In such, if ever there is no deterministic relationship between k and function of k, in such situation, it is not possible to express hk by a formula. It is not possible to express hk by a formula, and therefore, when one cannot predict whether the system will be stable or unstable, because to know, you must know all values of hk. If the sequence is a non-deterministic, I repeat again, non-deterministic means any value of hk can be represented by a number only and not by a formula. Whereas when it is deterministic, you can express it using formula, half raised to k, maybe plus 1/3 raised to k. There can be many options. There can be many options for expressing the values of hk as a function of k, sin k, e raised to k, like that, log k. There are n number of ways of expressing the values of the functions which is deterministic. Therefore now, when can you say that the system is stable? When can you surely say the system is stable? Right now, FI system is always stable. That goes without saying. So the system characteristic is hk. Values of hk for k equal to 0 onwards tell you that it is a system. Then by looking at those values, so it is ultimately we can say the sequence hk. Actually it is not a sequence as such, but these are the system parameters. But fortunately when we go for discrete time, in case of continuous time the things are somewhat different, but in discrete time the input is a number sequence, output is also a number sequence, and system function is also a number sequence. So all are alike. So if the sequence hn or hk for that matter is exhibiting some properties, we can conclude that the system is stable, and if that is not satisfied, we have to say that the system is not stable. So system stable, I again repeat, for a bounded input it must produce a bounded output. It must produce a bounded output. So when that can happen? When that can happen? Again, when we say bounded input, in that case also, to know that an input is bounded, it must also be a deterministic function. You must be able to know that for any value of n, the function will be like this. It will not exceed, or if input is random, it can be infinite also at some point of time. So xn equal to 1, xn equal to a raised to n, xn equal to sin n, means again when bounded input, when we say, it should be true for all n, and when it must be true for all n including n equal to infinity, there are two ways to know. Either we must have table n xn, that infinite table, and unless we look at all infinite entries, we can't say whether it is bounded or not, and we can't look at infinite entries. Therefore, to be able to comment that the input is bounded, we must have a formula between n and xn, means that xn is a deterministic function of n. Xn equal to 5 is a bounded input, means xn equal to 5 means always 5, like that. So when we can definitely conclude that the system is stable, so the task before you is to think what conditions the system function Hk must satisfy in order to make the system Bebo stable. What conditions the system function Hk must satisfy so as to make the system Bebo stable. I hope that this line comes in the screen view. So you should be able to comment on this. Think for a while. Just we give some scope for wild thinking and expect that some conclusion may emerge out of it. Every yn must be finite. For stable system, every yn must be finite. But when we are talking about Bebo stability, means we know that every x is finite. Every x is finite, which should lead to every y to be finite. So what is yn? Yn is actually summation. So that summation must be finite. That summation must be finite. That summation must be finite is a requirement. Correct? Are you getting me? That summation must be finite is a requirement. So when that summation must be finite, if the summation to be finite is the requirement, what are the conditions for that? Xn is finite, that is a starting point, Bebo stable. What must be finite? See, this thinking should lead yn. I would like that every individual must be able to think on his or her own to come to a conclusion. Yn is equal to summation of k equal to 0 to infinity hk x of n minus k. X of n minus k. What we have, every x is finite, right? Every x is finite. xn minus 1, xn minus 2, every x is finite. We want every yn to be finite for all n's. But what is every y, each yn? Each yn is a result of infinite summation. And that is particularly true when n is much larger and going to infinity. So every yn is a summation of infinite terms. And for this to be finite, this summation must converge. This summation must converge.
As k increases, h of k must decrease or it must remain constant?
It must remain constant.
Or it
must decrease. He is making a very good starting point for discussion, even though he is not perfectly correct.
H of k has to be finite for all values of k.
H of k to be finite for all values of k. Do you mean to say that, okay, now, this being a very important point, we shall elaborate on each answers given, and if that is wrong, we should conclusively prove that it is wrong. Now, what to consider a bounded input we have to consider, right? Input must be bounded. So if input is all 0. If input is all 0, then you may get that for many HKs you may provide, output will be 0 and obviously finite. But I will not do that. What I will do, we want to take that input, or for example, let us say that a situation is like in high school where new teacher is recruited and class control is an exercise. In that case, a very disciplined student will not make a mischief. So if the disciplined student doesn't make a mischief, will that be a certificate of class control? No. So if ever a mischievous guy, a maximum mischievous guy who is there in the class, if that remains silent, then that can be a certificate of class control. Then, so as to test various conditions you are telling on HK and claiming that the system would be stable, I shall have some examples, and therefore I will take that mischievous input which is stable, which is bounded. I will take that mischievous input which is bounded but likely to give unbounded output if the system is not stable. A 0 input, I again repeat, a system which is not stable does not give unbounded output for all inputs. I want to make it very clear. An output of a system is always bounded if system is stable and input is bounded. So it is possible that a stable system can give unbounded output if input is unbounded. Similarly, it is not true that an unbounded system must always produce, an unstable system must always produce unbounded output. It is not required. An unstable system is that system which is likely to produce unbounded output at least for one bounded input. It is very much possible that an unstable system also, for some bounded inputs, like a very disciplined student in a class, may produce bounded output also. So I must take that particular input which is mischievous in nature, and that particular input which is mischievous in nature is xn equal to 1. That xn equal to 1 means it is constant. Actually, it can maybe see, but one we have deliberately taken. Xn equal to 1 means all xn's are 1 from n equal to 0 onwards. Now, as he has stated that all hk's must be finite. All hk's must be finite. I take all hk's as 1. I take all hk's as 1. Will it make the system stable? If all hk's are 1, then yn is equal to summation of xn minus k for k equal to 0 to infinity. That would be n. That would be n. Yn would be, it would be accumulator, and yn would be n. Therefore, it is an unstable system. So he has stated that hk should reduce. He has stated that hk should reduce. Hk should reduce. Will it be sufficient? Will it be sufficient? I give you one typical example. Let hk be 1 upon k plus 1. Let hk be 1 upon k plus 1. Means what will happen? How can you write? Yn is equal to 1 upon k plus 1 xn minus k. Means yn is equal to x0 plus half x1 plus 1/3 x2 plus 1/4 x3 and so on. So it satisfies his criteria. And HK is reducing. Does it make the system stable? So HK now, what is HK? It is 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5 and so on. So is it stable? Now what is your conclusion? Will it be stable? Yes? Again take the mischievous input. So what is that? Xn equal to 1. So in that case, what is Yn? Yn is 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/3 and so on. So that is actually we can write down summation of 1 upon k plus 1 from k equal to 0 to infinity. We can make it 1 upon k for k equal to, or m, let us say m 1 to infinity, right? 1 to infinity. So what about that? Whether it is a converging sequence? Is it? Whether this is a converging sequence? Its value at m equal to infinity is 0. But the sequence converging means what should happen? It should be absolutely summable. The sequence should be absolutely summable. And if the sequence is absolutely summable, in that case, absolutely summable means the sum of HK must be finite. Sum of HK must be finite. And in this case it is not. It diverges. The sequence converges if ever we have got a geometric progression. For sequence to converge, we must take a very broad example, a geometric progression with the common ratio less than 1. In that case, it converges. So a sequence, if HK is half raised to k, it converges. 1 plus half plus 1/4 plus 1/8, it converges and it leads to a sum. What is that? 1 plus half plus 1/4 plus 1/8. What is the answer? What is the answer? If a raised to k, where a is less than 1,
a to r raised to n minus 4 upon r raised to n minus 4 upon 1 minus r.
n should not come in final expression, as n tends to infinity. What is that sum? It is 2. What is that? How? Yeah. Yeah. So as n is infinity, that is 0. Fine. So if you have got HK, means if you have got a system equation, let us say will it be stable? Will this be stable? Yn is equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity 1 upon k factorial xl minus k. No, why?
Because combination is
Not
plus
constant.
k.
Common ratio is
Plus k.
then
As k increases, that ratio also is this.
how common is 1 plus k?
1 upon 1 plus 1 upon 1 plus.
Common ratio. There is no common ratio.
There is no common ratio. But whether 1 upon k factor is absolutely summable? 1 plus 1 plus half plus 1/6. That is the expression for what? Do you know the expression for base of natural log e? Does it converge? Does it converge to e? No. E is not finite.
Which value to
Not exactly known. Irrational number.
Is it finite or not?
Actual value is not known.
Actual value is not known, but its limits are known. So it is perfectly finite. So we may conclude that if for this sum of these products to be finite, for some of these products to be finite, what we must have? We must have got, if this is individually finite, if this is finite, then can you say that it will result into always bounded output if the input is bounded? Whether summation of hk converging is necessary and sufficient condition for system to be stable? If the sequence hk is absolutely summable, whether it will suffice, whether it will make the system stable? Yes or no?
It must have also x of n finite. Each x of n finite.
So that is bounded input. So that whether it is a condition, whether it is a sufficient condition for bounded input, bounded output step, BBO step that we are talking about, or you would like to add some small thing there, or you would like to add some small thing there. Actually, like this. The sequence should be absolutely summable. The sequence should be absolutely summable. Right now, you may not exactly understand the difference between summability and absolute summability. But it is more stringent condition. Means there can be a sequence which is summable but not absolutely summable. There can be a sequence which may be summable but not absolutely summable. Okay, but right now at the first stage, rather than going into this minute differences, I hope that it is as you need not bother much about summability and absolute summability. So summation mod hk for k equal to 0 to infinity must be finite, and that must lead into a finite sum, we can say as mh. mh will be finite. If the absolute summation of the sequence hk leads to a value mh which is finite, in that case we can conclude that the system is stable, means a bounded input, bounded output things would be given by it. Obviously, if for finite impulse response systems, being for which it only considers few terms, when this is 0, it is obvious that every hk is finite. So we do not have an infinite hk. Every hk is finite. If every hk is finite, summation of finite terms is always finite. So if we are having this to be some finite limit, in that case you need not bother about what hk is. The sum has to be always finite. But if that limit is infinite, in that case the sequence must be converging sequence, and it must result into some figure which must be less than infinity. In that case, system is said to be stable. In the last semester, I tried to introduce and explain about the impulse function. But in continuous domain, the understanding of impulse function is not so easy phenomenon. I would like to repeat that even though the recording version would be available to you at a leisure time, it is not a license to remain non-attentive in a classroom. But in discrete time systems, the impulse definition is very simple. We are having xn is a sequence. We are having xn is a sequence. So n can be actually from anything from minus infinity to infinity. Right now we have considered that for all things up to 0, the xn is 0. But that restriction we may remove at some point of time. So xn is a general input. Then if we have got a peculiar signal such that, and it is called delta n, unit impulse function. It's very simple. Delta n is equal to 1 for n equal to 0 and 0 elsewhere. Xn delta n is equal to 1 for n equal to 0 and 0 elsewhere. This is called as unit impulse function. This is called as unit impulse function. It is that which is equal to 0 only at n equal to 0 and 0 elsewhere. 0 elsewhere. Means the thing in the bracket should be 0. For that it is 1, and when the thing in the bracket is non-zero, it is 0. So if one may say delta n minus 1, So what will happen? Is a delayed impulse. Means when n minus 1 is 0, it would be 1. Means delta n minus 1 would be 1 for n equal to 1 and 0 for other things. So it is delayed impulse, but that is may not be required. But this is very much important. Delta n 1 and 0. So in terms of unit impulse, we may study various systems. So Yn we have studied. What is Yn? Yn is equal to k equal to 0 to infinity hk x of n minus k. X of n minus k means xn is the input, yn is the output. Now if we apply, so we have a system and we can derive Hn. Here just I have used k because I want to use different indexes. Otherwise it is sequence only. Xn is an input sequence, Yn is an input sequence, and Hn is a system function. Hn is a system function. I hope that there should not be confusion. If you want, I will write hk, but that is not required. We should be able to distinguish between why k is able to put here, because I want different indexes. Therefore, I have put k because k is changing now for a particular n. Now, if I apply input as delta n, or if you want, I will make it k for the time being. If I apply input as delta n, can you reduce this equation into a simple equation? If I apply input as delta n, what the output equation would be? Just try to have small changes.
Summation of h.
If input I apply as delta n, what the output would be? What it would be? H of
k
H of
to delta n.
H of k. No, can't be
H of k to delta n.
no.
H of p for x to n minus p.
Now look at this. What is xn? Xn is delta n now. Means I can put as delta n minus k here. Right? Obviously no issues. Xn is delta n minus k. So what is the property of this delta n minus k, or in general, that whenever the bracket is 0, its value is 1. When the bracket will become 0,
N is equal to
when k, here k is going from 0 to infinity. So this bracket will become 1, this bracket will become 0 for n equal to k. And at that time, value will become, this value will become 1. So can I write this summation as
Summation of h.
a term k equal to n? I will write this in two parts. One is k equal to n and other k not equal to n. So when k equal to n, what it is?
H of k.
H of k at k equal to n means what?
H of n.
H of n into 1. Right? And h of k not equal to n into 0. So what it is? What is y?
H of n.
So if the impulse input is provided to the system, then what comes out is the system function. Hn is the system function. Hn is completely, means the system is completely characterized by Hn. The way in which it responds to current and previous inputs. So if ever you have to test, means if ever you are provided with the system but not its equation, then to get the equation out of the system is apply impulse input. Whatever you get is Hn. And obviously if the system is FIR, then what will happen after some value of n? Y will become 0 because Hn becomes 0 after some value of n. And if system is IR, it will continuously produce outputs. So an infinite impulse response system produces continuous outputs even if you have given one impulse. The impulse is one input you have given as 1 and now you are not applying any input, but the system will continue to produce the outputs. It may be very small, 1/2 raised to k or 1 upon k factorial, like that, or 1 upon k, stable and unstable, different part. So an infinite, therefore it is called as infinite impulse response system. So when I apply impulse as input, what I obtain output is the system response, system function. And obviously if I have infinite impulse response system, I will get output continuously for all values of n, even though input has stopped. And if the system is finite impulse response, after a particular value of n, Hn will become 0. So for a FIR system, Hn is non-zero for a finite window, or Hn can be non-zero because it may be 0 at some individual values also. So FIR system means Hn can be non-zero for a finite window of k equal to 0 to m minus 1, and IR means Hn can be non-zero for all values of n equal to or greater than 0. So an IR system, I may get the output throughout, whereas for FIR system I will get output when I give impulse inputs, I will get output for finite n. After that the effect of input would be lost. Means when I apply impulse now, its effect is carried throughout in IR system, whereas its effect vanishes after the finite window in a FIR system. So this unit impulse is very important signal in discrete time signal processing. This unit impulse is very important signal in discrete time signal processing. And what we do this, that is delta k is here, just we have replaced, but in general this process of hk into xn minus k is called as convolution. This is called as convolution. You have to prove, you can take a homework, prove that it is same if even if you exchange the order in convolution, it is same. Means if we have two sequences, one x and one h, index you can have in either way. Summation of hkxn minus k or summation of xkhn minus k is same. It is given as homework to you. It is given as homework to you. Is it okay? The recording off.